Loblaws and Metro are ending their temporary pandemic wage increases for frontline grocery workers, despite some pretty healthy profits this year. The two grocery giants say they're ending their $2 an hour raise on Saturday. Loblaws says the premium was extended multiple times over the past few months, but now stores have, quote, stabilized. The premium will then end June 13th, followed by another one-time bonus for frontline teams. For more on this, I want to bring in Chris McDonald. He is assistant to the president for retail at Unifor. Chris, you know, when the story broke across the wires, a lot of the reaction on social media was disappointment at Loblaws, shock and surprise. I'm going to ask you for your reaction. I'm assuming it would be similar since you're with the union, but tell me what you were believing to be the truth or the length of this wage increase. Did you think it was supposed to be forever, or did you know it was temporary?
Well, I mean, when the companies introduced this at the beginning of the pandemic, they were very aware that their low-wage workers at retail grocers across the country were a problem, and that they were one of the first to introduce this pandemic pay because they had to make it worthwhile for essential workers to come into work in order to do the work that needed to be done across the country. It was always clear that they had said it would be temporary in nature, but they kept on extending it out. And while things may have normalized in the stores, the risks in the stores remain, the social distancing in the stores remain, the conditions in the stores remain. And frankly, what the pandemic has done is really highlight the fact that these grocery workers have been underpaid and falling behind for many, many years. And this $2, didn't affect the earnings at all. In fact, incredible amounts of earnings were reported by these large grocers just after the pandemic started. And I'm certain the same level of hundreds of millions in earnings will be reported post-pandemic as well.
Yeah, my understanding is Loblaws just showed a gain in this quarter. So what do you think the message sends to their workers then?
Listen, workers at Loblaws across the country and the Loblaws chains have been used to, the employer essentially trying to drive their working conditions down. This isn't unusual. You have the bulk of workers making very little amounts of minimum wage, and frankly, this is exposing a long known inequity in the grocery industry. And this used to be a good job to have, but frankly, Loblaws is eliminating the full-time jobs across the country. They've eliminated.
Oh, we seem to have lost. Oh, you're back.
This is very problematic, and it's just consistent with the way the retailer's behaving.
So again, the phrase essential workers, grocery store clerks, baggers, checkers, you name it, were deemed essential workers. They could have stayed home and taken the CERB. The CERB is likely going to run out, and now their wages are going to be cut back to what they were. What would you like to see happen?
Look, we are in collective bargaining with Loblaws for thousands of workers in Newfoundland and other rounds of bargaining that are upcoming. And our position essentially is the workers' inequities have been exposed, that the essential nature of their work and how we rely on them has been exposed, and it's only fair that they get treated more fairly going forward. There was no reason to take away the pandemic pay, but it's consistent. Galen Weston has in fact been a champion against minimum wage increases. He's lobbied against minimum wage increases, and frankly, these workers are used to it, but they felt for a while that they were being respected, and our workers that are reporting into us are feeling very disrespected after all they've done during the pandemic.
Chris McDonald is the assistant to the president for retail at Unifor. Appreciate your time, Chris. And I just want to read to our viewers a little bit of what we received from the Loblaws PR department. It says our temporary pay premium was introduced to recognize our frontline colleagues who went above and beyond so that Canadians could stay well fed and healthy during extraordinary times. We have extended the temporary premium numerous times over the past few months. Now, as provinces are reopening and our stores have stabilized, we have announced to our colleagues that the premium will end June 13th, followed by a $25 million bonus for our frontline teams as an extra thank you.